From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, you are listening to the Walkertown Report.
Today we're having Rebecca Bardoux, a porn star who, believe it or not, has her own comic book. And Rebecca, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, how in the world did this ever happen? I can see people like, say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or I can see, say, O.J. Simpson, for instance, and he does have his own comic book, very much to his chagrin. But how did you wind up getting a comic book of your life made?
I was sitting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in a hotel room reading my mail, because I had been on the road for like 4 weeks. I got my mail transferred to me, and I got a letter from this company asking me if I would be interested in doing that. I have no idea. They said they got my name from talking to a few people about me, and they said that it might be interesting for me. And that was it.
And by this time, you had already done a few movies.
Yeah,
I neglected. I mean, I mentioned that you were a porn star, but I think I should really say that you've made some X-rated movies and
about
200. They had made 200, so I can see why somebody would say, okay, this woman has made 200 films. She's worthy of a comic book. What happened then? Did you have to go down to San Diego, where this Carnal Comics is based at,
yes,
to do the interview?
I went down there and just spoke with him. He showed me his company and presented himself and everything. And so we made a decision there that I would do it. So I went back to LA, and about a month later he called me and we had phone conversations. And I just sat down and just talked to him about my whole life. And I'm a very open and honest person. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's like, it was scary the first time I read it, because going back to my true life when I was younger and seeing all those things, and it's like, oh my goodness, that really did happen.
Well, boys and girls, why don't we just begin the story?
Yeah.
I'm opening this up, and we're seeing Dear Diary. We're saying you're a little kid growing up in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Dear Diary, nothing exciting ever happens on 11th Street. My two older sisters are always gone. They like boys, yuck. And then there's a picture of you playing with your Ken and Barbie dolls. And then here you are, like, stripping the Ken and Barbie dolls. And you're saying to yourself, Ken can't even do it with Barbie. He's got nothing down there. I wonder if that's why Daddy never sleeps with Mommy anymore. Well, you just asked the question there, but I'm just kind of wondering about your home life. Did you really have kind of a happy home life, or?
No, I really didn't. I was the middle child of 5 children. My parents weren't real happy together. Back then it was, you got married, and even if you didn't like it, you stayed together for the family. And we had a lot of tough times with one of my sisters passed away from like a 4-year bout with a brain tumor. And it just wasn't a really healthy family. It wasn't really a happy environment. So.
And I'm wondering today, are they still married or divorced?
My father's passed away, and my mother is doing great, and I talk to her all the time, and she's very happy, and I have a great relationship with her now.
Well, I kind of wonder, I mean, this is probably going to answer itself later on in the book, but how they felt about your eventual success in the dancing X-rated business. Or do they even know?
My father doesn't know, because he passed away before I started doing it. But my mom, she just asked me, do you like that? And I say, yeah. She goes, okay, are you happy? And I said, yes, I'm very happy. She goes, all right, that's most important.
Oh, that's interesting. This wasn't really a strict moralistic fundamentalist kind of family then, was it?
I think we created a facade. Mm-hmm. On the outside we weren't. On the inside we didn't know what the hell we were.
Let's see. Okay, you meet your friends who tells you that you can make your breasts grow if you just pull on them.
That's my sister.
Yeah, that's your sister. She's the one is she still alive, or is she?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so how does she feel about her portrayal of herself? I mean, she's rather well endowed in this book. Has your sister seen this comic book?
She hasn't seen it, and she doesn't know about it, but I was talking to her on the phone the other day, and we were talking about her getting her breasts reduced, because she has very big breasts. And she said to me, I cannot believe that you went and got your breasts made bigger, because we're just like complete opposites on that side. She said, all you had to do was, take some of mine, we could have transferred.
Oh, God.
But she's the one. She's made me pull on them.
Well, so you start having all these boyfriends and all this, and it's just one sexual escapade after another in this.
Well, that's not really my whole life was, but they highlight more so the sex because it is, you know, more of an adult comic.
It's like, I'm wondering, I mean, I really wonder about this. I got over my shyness about his cum pretty quick too, and here we have basically this guy jacking off on your face according to the comic book. And I don't know. I mean, I talk to, you know, a lot of women about this, and I don't think that most women, unless they're being paid to, like, say, a prostitute or something like that, seem to be reflecting on me that they really enjoy that kind of stuff.
Well, I hope he doesn't get mad. I'm sure he won't. Right now with my boyfriend and I love it when he ejaculates on my face or in my mouth. That's exciting to me. That's like, I don't know, when you're going down on a girl and she, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what words you can use, you know, ejaculates or whatever, orgasms, I should say. Well, you're going down on her, don't you like that?
Well, I mean, I like, you know, the orgasm. I mean, I certainly like seeing her orgasm. I guess I'm just, I guess liquid is because of where it's coming from. It looks too much like defecation, I would think, for some people. And I guess some people would have a hang-up over that.
I don't know.
So,
I love it. I do. I think it's great.
I love this part right here. Okay, now, I have no idea what's happened here, but okay, I guess you just go out and you're partying. It felt great to be able to go out and party with friends, secure and totally in control. And then here you are, like, kind of laying down like 5 on An American Tail, you know, looking up at the stars. And I've never been so happy. I just wish time would slow down.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in the hospital. Looks like there's kind of a crossroads here, and so you decide to be an exotic dancer. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about your foray into exotic dancing?
I moved back to Erie, Pennsylvania to be with my parents because I wasn't, as you can see, I wasn't having a good time of it. And so I moved back there to live with them. And I always had this in the back of my mind, actually, when I was in Philadelphia living. I went to a bachelorette party and I was talking to the male stripper and he was telling me, oh, you know, you should get into that. And I was in Erie, I was looking for a job, I needed money. I didn't really want to work because I was still totally messed up. Just, my head wasn't on straight. So I answered an ad that said dancer. I'd always thought about doing it. Even when I was younger, I always wanted to be like a call girl. I always felt I wanted to use my body to give men pleasure, I guess. So I went and I auditioned and it was like, bam. He's like, boy, I just took right to it. I just loved it.
It sounds like something I read from Dolores French, who was a prostitute who wrote a book. And basically what she said was, growing up, she would watch I Love Lucy. And she would see the ditzy housewife that we're supposed to emulate. But every time a call girl came on, she was always somebody who was beyond the norm, somebody who was coming from the outside, somebody who looked like she had it all together. And it's like the message seemed to be, if you want to have it all together, be like this person, don't be like Ditzy, Lucy, or Ethel. The magazine pretty much ends. You get into the adult videos, you have a success of it, and then it ends with your fan club, and that's
No,
it.
that's where it begins.
Well, yeah, then you got this nice little cowboy fantasy.
That is
segment.
my fantasy, a true fantasy. I was driving from Chicago to LA, home from a dance booking. And I was in Denver. I stopped at the rest stop because it was pouring down rain. And as I was getting ready to leave again, I saw these 2 guys in the brown leather cowboy coats and the hats with the rain just pouring down on them, I swear. And I just thought, oh my God, would I just love to have sex with them. And I never did. And the whole way home, I was just thinking about what I would have done if I would have pulled over and just done it. Because I'm not spontaneous when it comes to things like that.
Well, it's the whole thing about fantasy and reality. I mean, I'm wondering what really would have happened if you would have done it. It could have been a pleasurable experience, or it could have been something very painful that you kind of would have gone, oh my goodness, why did I do that?
You know, you just taught me why it's best to keep some things in fantasy. I'll always have that fantasy. Had I gone for it, like you said, it might not have been. So it's good to have fantasy. So that's good. That's actually the only fantasy I have.
Yeah. The main thing that we keep hearing about the adult industry is that these videos which are depicted are just fantasies. They're not meant to be recreated in real life. I mean, these are just simply fantasy. But I'm just wondering, for adult film stars, it's not really fantasy. It is your reality. When you are actually having sex with 3 or 4 people on a screen, you really are having sex with 3 or 4 people on a screen.
Yeah, I'm having sex.
So is that, I mean, would you consider yourself, I'm trying to get into your mindset here, but would you consider yourself to be actually living a fantasy, or is it for the most part when you're doing it, it's, okay, it's work, I got to summon up everything here to just look good? I mean, what is it like when you're going through
Okay,
that?
it's work.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, don't get me wrong. There's nothing better than doing it. I feel great when I'm done. I love my fans coming up to me and saying, oh, I love this movie and that. But it is work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a product, it's in demand out there, and that's what we're doing, we're making it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like regular movies are in demand for people to go and watch them. People are buying this stuff. They're watching it with their girlfriends and their wives and by themselves. Guys, white-collar guys, which is very funny, I know a lot of white-collar guys that be surprised what they do behind closed doors.
Well, what happens, I'm wondering, when a lot of men get these movies and take it home and show it to their wives? I mean, we keep hearing about how it brings people together, and I kind of wonder if sometimes couples get into fights or what happens sometimes.
If the couple doesn't have a good relationship and good communication, it doesn't matter what the husband brings home to try to make things better. They have a negative attitude with each other, so it's not going to matter.
Looking at some of these videos that you've done, and you've done some hot sex scenes with, other men before. I mean, in Sodomania
Yes.
2, you had kind of a
Yes.
threesome going there. But you don't do that kind of stuff anymore, do you?
No, I'm just doing mostly girl now.
And what is the reason behind that? I mean, was it like did you have like a bad experience, or what?
No,
why
not
did
at
you do
all.
that?
Nothing bad happened. It was just I was getting to a point in my career where I was single again, and I wanted to have a personal life. I wanted to have a boyfriend. I wanted to go out to dinner with someone. I just wanted to have a regular life. And I knew that the only way I was going to have that was to stop having sex with other people, because the men that I wanted to be with were not going to really accept this. Any man that would say, oh yeah, that's cool that you do that, is probably not the type of man that I'd want to be with.
So you would not want to go, say, with one of your fans. You don't see yourself having a relationship with a fan.
I don't think that they could have a relationship with me, and I don't...
That's interesting. Why?
Well, maybe they could, I don't know. I'd have to get to know them, and they'd have to look at me as Rebecca and not as what they see on the screen, because that's a completely different person.
I could probably, from the way you're talking, I'm just wondering if you could have a relationship with somebody like maybe a real hard sell, moral majority type fundamentalist Christian who believes that it's all wrong and I just want you for myself and I don't want anyone else to see you. Is that the kind of relationship you would be going for, something like that?
I think that's nice for a guy to say, I don't want anyone else to see you nude. I want you to be covered up. You know, you don't have to show people, you're beautiful, you can keep it. I think that makes me feel really nice. Because in the past, with all my boyfriends and my ex-husband, they let me go and do it. They let me go on the set and have 5 guys doing me, do 2 scenes, whatever. And then I came home, and what did they do? They wanted to do the same thing to me. It's like, how, I don't know, as I get older, I see, I think that's beautiful that someone could say that.